I was approached by a colleague who wanted me to speak at this convention that's coming up next year. And I was like, "Oh, cool. I'm interested in seeing where that goes." Um the panel was featuring artists, not entrepreneurs, but independent artists who are, making their way through the industry independently and talking about the different struggles and successes through that. The name of the panel was kind of off-putting to me, off rip. If I can remember it correctly, sketchbooks and side hustles, sketchbook and side hustles out of the studio, or something like that. That was the subtitle. And when I read that, I was like, that's kind of weird. Why would you call it that? Because it kind of feels like you're making it seem as if anybody that is independent and not tied to a major network or studio or whatever the case may be is like just kind of whimsically going along the path of being an artist, when there's such a massive world of artistry in so many different ways in different areas that a lot of people don't understand or know. Because this colleague and I are in two different worlds, very different. This person is corporate. They've worked with like 2 or 3 different major studios like Netflix, and another one that got shut down years ago. And it's like, cool, do your thing. I'm not going to knock anybody that works corporate. You got to do what you got to do. Cool. Me, on the other hand, y'all know what I do. I'm very independent. I do exhibitions, gallery shows. I'm a member of, community organizations that are active within this area in New York and in Brooklyn specifically. It's just two different bubbles under the same umbrella, but two different worlds. And if you're not part of this, it's hard to really grasp and understand how it works and what it really is, right? But like I'm in the same realm as, I'm not saying that I am this person, but I'm in the same realm as like an Amy Sherald, right? Like this is where I'm trying to do things part of the public, and we're kind of forward facing, right? Whereas when you're working corporate and you're in a studio, you're part of a machine, and you have a safety net to rely on. Where when you're independent, you're doing everything yourself, unless you have the funding to have multiple types of assistance and things like that. And what I'm doing is an amalgamation of different things. But if you had to boil it down, if you had to label it, it would be in that realm, like being a gallery artist, going to exhibitions, going to gallery showings, salon shows, solo exhibitions, group exhibitions, things of that nature. It's putting on your own shows. It's making proposals to get grant funding or to be exhibited in major spaces, right? This world is a far cry from anything you would think about if you're working at a desk at Nickelodeon. Okay? So to see the title Sketchbooks and Side Hustles, it was just like, where does the side hustle come in? And why are we denoting this as something lesser than, right? It felt disrespectful almost. It felt a little off-putting. But I was like, you know what? I'm not going to think too much of it, because not everybody that I've met in the past previously, before I've transitioned into this new space with all the new people that I'm with that understand everything, we're all in the same realm, right? I'm not gonna put too much into it, because it's like, you don't understand. And if this is a opportunity that provides compensation in some way, shape, or form, I let it slide. Right? So this convention is taking place in a different state, far from New York. And they asked me to be on this panel. So I said, okay, I'll reach out with some questions. I asked the questions. I said, is this a paid opportunity? They said no. So it's not paid. There's no compensation for room and board or travel. And I would still have to buy my pass for this convention. So you're asking someone to travel to a whole different state, pay for all these accommodations themselves, and then speak on the panel without any form of compensation or payment. That's wild to me. That's wild to me. Because every other panel that I've spoken on, any other event that I've done, there was payment involved. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, if you're cool with somebody, you can't do nothing pro bono just for the the vibe. But that's only if it's a very specific situation, right? So like if somebody asked me to be on their podcast and it's like, it's just, they just chilling, it's just like whatever kind of vibe. I'm like, cool. I'll be on your podcast. I've done that before, doing little interviews here and there for other people. And people have done the same for me. It's not a big deal. But for it to be some major event, that's just that don't sit right with me. And we have to stop doing this to our own people because this colleague also happens to be Black. I would never invite someone to do something that big or with that much effort without some form of compensation. At least, like if the hotel was comped or the event pass was comped, the convention pass was comped, then that would have been fine. But nothing? You have to pay your artists, y'all. You have to pay your artists. You have to pay your guests, your panelists. Compensate them in some way. Every other thing I've done before, there was some form of compensation, whether it was financial or it was a skill trade or something else was exchanged for my time. Again, if it was something different where it's just like, I'm doing like for instance, y'all know that I'm part of, I'm affiliated with a Black Men Build. If somebody from Black Men Build was like, hey, can you do a workshop for us? Da 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 da. Can you speak on the panel for this group? Da 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 da. I'd be like, all right, I got you. I'll do this for free because this is a community thing. This is something that is important and integral to the betterment of our people. Like I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm gonna charge you X, Y, and Z because y'all providing so much for the people and you providing so much for me in these wonderful events. Nah, ain't no big thing. I'll do that out of the kindness of my heart and free time. Like it's whatever. But if somebody else came up to me and was like, hey, can you speak at this school or can you come to this convention or da 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 da? Nah. There has to be something involved, some sort of exchange. Because again, I wouldn't do that. And it doesn't have to be monetary necessarily. It could be some form of compensation, but it has to be something. Can't just be zero and you're not even making an effort, you know what I'm saying, to find something to do. Find something to give. Because I talked to like 3 other people and I thought I was tripping. I was like, am I tripping? I told them the situation. They was like, nah, you're not tripping. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. You know? And I see this happen all over the place, right? People expect other black people to do things for free because it's like, hey, it's like, no, we don't all gotta vibe like that. We don't all have a bond like that. We don't all have a connection like that. And we shouldn't expect black people, because you don't do that to nobody else. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with like family members, right? Family members expect you to get a discount, or best friends or whoever expect to get a discount or whatever. You shouldn't expect to have a discount. It's nice if someone offers that to you. It's nice if someone does something for free for you, but that should not be an expectation. I would never go to Coco and say, "Hey, Coco, if Coco, let's say Coco was let's say if Coco was a baker, a cake maker, you know what I'm saying?" And I would have been like, "Hey, Coco, make me a 5-layer cake." I don't know the terminology, but make me one of them big ass cakes with BB and Bemi on the top, and then decorate it with all kinds of like Habtoons characters, and I need it by next weekend, and I don't have anything to pay you. That would have been wild to say. I would never do that. I would never go to Coco and do something like that. Never. I would either find a way to pay her or offer some sort of barter or trade of another skill or service. So let's say I say, "Hey, Coco, if you have time, I would love it if you made a cake for this event. Put some Habtoon stuff all over it, and in exchange, I'll come build a cabinet for you or something, or I'll be the speaker at your next event, or something like that, or something." You know what I'm saying? Favor for favor, task for task, right? Just out of common courtesy, right? It shouldn't be me saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do this," and she's just gonna give it to me for free. Absolutely not. And we got to stop doing that to our people. I can't speak for no other race, ethnicity, or culture. I feel like here in this region, Black American culture, I feel like we do that way too much. We do that way too fucking much. So the more I thought about it, the more offended I got. And this is why I let so many people go. Because there was a point where I told y'all, I was like, I'm gonna cut off a lot of folks that I was in connection and relation to, because they were not serving their purpose, and I was not able to be fulfilled in the way that I was expecting to, or wanted to, or should have been, right? Because it's perfectly okay for us to expect things. And now that I'm the last month or two, now that I'm meeting new people who are very active, politically minded, and supportive, it's night and day. The difference is night and day. Just off rip, I feel like I've been poured into so much, I don't even know how to handle it, because I'm not used to it. You get what I'm saying? So for me, it's like, not that I'm just dropping everybody off that was here before, but for those people that really weren't rocking with me the way they should have, and then expecting me to do things, or when they the only time they text me is to say they need something, get the fuck out. I unfollowed and blocked mad people, because I'm like, this is not. And if we see each other, like if I see them outside at an event, I'm not going to be like, "Ew, look at so and so." I'm gonna still be cordial, but I'm not gonna be like dapping you up like we homies, like we've been riding together since, diapers or something like that. You feel me? So it's like, for you to come out and ask me to do something again, to go to another state, buy my own ticket to the convention, pay for travel, pay for room and board for 3 days, because the convention is like 3 days. I think it's like a weekend, something like that. And there's no sort of compensation. Is laughable, disrespectful, and outrageous. So don't do that. Whoever is out there and you're an event planner, or you connecting with people or networking and shit like that, don't do that. Don't do that. And I don't know if they were doing that because I'm not some big name or whatever. But even still, that's still mad disrespectful. It shouldn't matter if someone's a big name or not. And you wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that to no white person. I guarantee it. What am I, Denzel? I guarantee it. And I have no hatred in my heart, but I'm definitely like offended for sure.